Minds, Better Lives here on Pure West Radio. It's me, Tom. I've got Tammy with me. I've got Carl with me, and we've got Big Brother's Dylan with us as well, talking about what's happened to him online, in particular, well, talking about everything so far. It's been great. Thank you so much, Dylan, for your time and your generosity with your information.
No problem.
It's been a real pleasure and a real treat to hear from you. But Tammy, Social Media Kindness Day isn't something that was just dreamt up and someone put on Facebook. There's actually a really serious and tragic story behind Social Media Kindness Day.
Yeah, and you just never know how someone's going to react to a nasty message on social media. So that's why the day's been created. But also, more poignantly, it's in the memory of the late Caroline Flack, whose birthday was November the 9th. And, you know, we think about social media being that amazing place to socialize and to network and to do business. But then we think about Caroline Flack and what happened to her and how she took her own life after learning that she was going to be prosecuted for allegedly assaulting her boyfriend, you know, following a struggle, which was around her mental health and how it played out with people on social media. And again, just thinking about that one case of Caroline, just how many other people are affected by that online hate. It's really profound. It's really sad.
Yeah, there's this perception, particularly characters like Caroline Flack, that they were the bubbly, happy, generous types. They were presenters. They got to travel the world. That, well, what could they be arguing about? What could they be struggling about? And yet, the fact that we don't know that should be enough to know that we shouldn't assume that that's the case.
No, it's just tragic. And again, these, social media, it's not here to say, social media is bad, but it's how people respond to those platforms. And it's not just a one-off incident. I'm sure between us we can think of several high-profile cases that have been affected by social media.
Yeah, and definitely. And of course, we talked about that mob mentality before of people physically being in the space. And then back in days gone by, you would have had an angry letter. Someone might have sent something to the newspaper in the opinion column. So everything took time and everything was a bit thoughtful. Whereas now, with social media, if I was angry and upset about something, or with you, I could literally at you. So there's no way of you filtering that for the first one. You could block me and mute me afterwards. But that first one, you're going to receive from me. And I could call you anything under the sun. I could even make up a fake profile and tell you lots of horrible things and then delete that profile. But you've still received that. As far as you're concerned, there's someone in the world that feels that way against you. It could be threatening. And that's a really scary place to be. And Dylan, you were just saying off air then that it's real.
It is real. It is very, very real. These some of the comments, I mean, the comments are fine. The comments I can handle personally. If you want to blast me for what I said, then happy days. Me as a person, I'm ready to take the comments. Okay, that's fine. But when you start bringing my family into it, bringing my girlfriend into it, bringing other members of people that know me into it, that's when it becomes a problem. It becomes a real problem. Then going on to the Big Brother show, I knew in the back of my mind that you can catch hate. Okay, you have to expect this sort of things. And with the world today and how social media is, I was expecting some sort of backlash, for whatever and whatever. But I mean, the things that I read about, there's a video, for instance, okay, that this woman is saying, my mother should be ashamed of me. I could tell that you've got a white mother because of how you've acted with this person. Your girlfriend should get up and leave. And another video that I've watched, dragged up my friend. Okay, she's a 13-year-old girl, okay, online. Somebody on TikTok made a video, okay, and it was at the start of the series where they had everybody's opening pictures, and it went through everybody's opening pictures. This is before anything's even happened, and they said, okay, I like what he's wearing, I like what that's wearing, and they got to me, and for some reason they said, I don't like him. I don't know why, I just don't like him, and then moved on. Okay, now my 13, 14-year-old niece has then wrote a comment on it saying, oh, that's my uncle. You don't even know me yet. Like, can you get to know him or whatnot? And nothing was said until the altercation happened online. Was that person then dragged that comment back up from the start of the week and put it on the thing and then berated her about her uncle being this and that. Now, for me, that's a problem. she's a 13-year-old girl. Why are you doing this? You can tell she's a young girl because as soon as you go on her profile, she's there in a school uniform. You know what I mean? She's a young girl. So yeah, it is real, people. And the funny thing about it is, me and Paul are getting abused for being bullies. But yet, isn't that bullying itself? I mean, what you are doing is bullying. So I can't understand people's mentality. You know, I just don't understand it, to be honest with you.
Of course, there is this thing as well, Carl. I'm going to come to you for this one. There's so many millions of people in Wales, in Pembrokeshire, 125,000 in Pembrokeshire, 66 million in the UK. We're not going to like, and we're not going to be liked by everyone. But do we need to share that comment?
No, absolutely not. You know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You know, you've got to have that respect for yourself firstly, to not get yourself involved in everyone else's business. You know, you do not need to be commenting online about something that doesn't bother you. I get it all the time with the clubs and whatnot and things. You know, people just make silly, stupid, flippant comments, trying to be funny, trying to look cool, trying to get some appreciation for themselves. I mean, these people do this for a reason. It's because maybe they're not feeling the best about themselves. And the way that they're doing this is just wrong, because the after effects from it really hits hard. I mean, somebody did something to me the other day and I replied on it, and everybody was backing me. And this person then, from trying to get a laugh and try and take the mick out of us, they then realized that they were wrong, and they were like, "Oh, I can't believe you've replied. Oh, it was why I should not defend myself," type of thing. You know, it's really not fair. It's because they've got that extra level of security being online. They can say say what they want, and you know, act as they feel, and there aren't enough repercussions from it. People really need to understand that flippant words from yourself isn't flippant words in my heart or in my soul or in my head, that when I'm not sleeping, or the same with you guys. And you're thinking back in it, why do people think this way? Why do people think it's okay to go out there to hurt people?
Yeah. And Dylan, I'm going to come to you now. I've just said that we're not designed to be liked by everyone that we meet. And then all of a sudden, you're the 10th person walking into a house and you kind of want everyone to like you.
Yeah. So that's, yeah. You know what it is, you see, that there it is. That's the problem, isn't it? With that's why it's called the social experiment, I suppose. You know, can you make a nation like you? Do you know that? I think is that what it is? Is that what the social experiment is? Can you hold yourself together enough for 6 weeks? Because that's all people are doing in there. That what you are seeing is not a true reflection of the people that I know, who I've been with for the last 4 weeks. What you see is just what they decide to put up and what they edit, and usually it is the bad parts, you know, because television is television.
Well, yeah, the television is designed to evoke a response. It's designed to evoke emotion. It's why that we spend so many hours surrounded by the box, whether by ourselves or with our family. It's for entertainment purposes. Yes, Carl.
I've got a thing on this. I mean, like, I'm not trying to get Big Brother cancelled, but the directors have got to get some sort of they've got to take some ownership for this, I guess, and the producers of these shows. There is repercussions to their actions, and if they are just going to give you the highlight reel, they've got to put in some type of brackets or comments. This is not possibly the full reflection of an of an individual person or the full story, because again, how this will change and affect people's lives moving forward, there's got to be some ownership and some responsibility taken to safely do a social experiment, because look at the after effects.
I'd like to carry on from that. Okay, so just so you know, Big Brother itself, the people who actually run that show and produce it and direct it and whatnot, the people who direct it and put it out there, okay, that's one side of it. The welfare team and the people who actually look after all of the contestants are brilliant. Okay, so they have given me nothing but help since stepping out of that house and all the way through my journey as well. So that, do you know what I mean? That itself, I need to make that very, very clear. The Big Brother team itself are amazing. Okay. Now, I talked to one of the producers about the storyline and the narrative that they pushed while we were in there. And this is what they said. Okay. They said, we need to make a story out of 24 hours a day. Okay. So that will just go in one way or another. Okay. So at the minute, it's the love triangle with Jordan and Henry and Matty. And then we've got Trish coming into it now, because Trish, you know, is doing whatever she does. And at the time when I was in there, the narrative was, obviously, we was all very tired after that and then we got into that fight, and that's why it went out. And there are points that we made, like, why have you not put up things about my amputee journey? Why did you not put up things about Paul talking about mental health? And they've explained it quite clearly. They said, right, so it hasn't fit into the journey that they're having. It hasn't fit into the storyline that they were watching. And with the mental health thing that Paul was talking about, every time he talked about mental health, he said somebody else's name, which they haven't got consult for to put their name onto the TV. So that is why that is why it is edited how it is, and I completely understand it. Now I spoke to them, I completely understand it. And to be fair, the Big Brother team, they've been amazing. They have been amazing, especially for an amputee and with Kerry and their MS. Did you know they fitted a lift into that house just for Kerry? A whole lift. You know, that's how accommodating they are. Now, the social team, okay, the woman who runs the social team, she's an amazing person as well. Where I think the fault lies is the person who's running their social pages, because they're allowing for this hate to stay on there. I mean, they should be deleting these comments. Bot. You know, every time they see somebody saying, "Oh, bully," it should be getting taken off and be gone. Now that, I don't know what team that is that deals with that. I've not met that team, but if I did, I would explain that to them. Listen, can you not do this and get rid of this? Because this is what is killing it. You know, if you look at the Big Brother page itself, there's way too many. This is being bullied. This, and this, and that. And it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, you know. And I think that is where the problem lies. Because as far as me, myself, and Paul are now concerned, we are very happy. You know, I mean, we've been helped by the team, counselled through it, especially by AJ. You know, AJ, I spoke to AJ. She was like, "Don't worry about it. It's going to go away." Blah blah blah. So that side of it for us is covered. But if these comments online, that could be deleted and not being taken down.
Yeah, Tammy.
I just really wanted to just jump in there and just follow on, when you think about that landscape of online hate, and you have those negative posts and then you have people interacting with them. And you think about like artificial intelligence or where the human moderators are kind of working through like the thread. If a post is seen to be receiving a lot of interaction and it's a popular post, it's going to be pushed out more and more, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And artificial intelligence just it can't keep up with what's happening. And human moderators as well, and the landscape of that online hate it's spreading faster than it does in the real world. And the only way that I can say, and I've never been in the Big Brother house or in that social experiment, but if you see like an altercation between two people in the street or in a pub, it can either be resolved quite quickly by somebody in a safe way, or it might affect maybe 40 other people in that area. But my goodness, online, it just spreads and it just goes so quickly to thousands so quickly. And I don't know what the answer is, and it'd be great if somebody could be there just deleting all that online hate all the time. But it's the infrastructure isn't there, is it?
Well,
yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that. Sorry to jump in just again there, just before we move on. It's funny you should say that because they gave me a document, okay? Big Brother team gave me a document and it showed me exactly how to moderate my comments. Now, what you can do is you can write in different words that if somebody types it in, it won't allow it to go on. It won't allow it to go on onto a comment. So I'm guessing they could do the same for Big Brother's page, and they just haven't. Do you know? That's one way to do it. If you don't want to see bully written online anymore, we could just X that word off. Do you know what I mean? Racist, bully, misogynistic, all these words that have been thrown out. That's hurting the actual TV program itself. I mean, everybody from the outside looking in is like, that's horrible. You know, it's and Carl's right. We don't want to cancel the program. It's a great program, but if you can't control the online bullying, it won't work.
Yeah. Carl, you were going to come in there.
Yeah, I probably forgot the point I was going to make. I think it was basically along the lines of, I think there needs to be an understanding that this is a 5-second clip of a 24-hour day, and I think people need to take more time to appreciate. We are seeing the tip of the iceberg here. And I think if people could be more mindful, and there should be maybe a disclaimer at the start of every show. Remember, you are seeing highlights of a full day. Remember not to jump to hateful conclusions because you don't know the full story. I think there just is a better way to monitor things, because it is, we've said it's you've got the grasshopper effect, crab mentality, social cohesions, social grouping. It's all the same word. And if somebody thinks something's got a bit of a life in it, people jump on it. People then want to agree with it, and they don't know who that person is or that person is. But if that comment sounds right, oh yeah, that'll do for me. I'll jump on that. I'll give that a like. I'll give that a heart. You know, it's just, I think we need to, as a community, we need to be better. And I think as a show, I think there needs to be more mindfulness moving forward, because Dylan's had all the help moving forward now over the last couple of weeks. But you know what? They won't be there in 6 months' time or 12 months' time or 2 years' time or 5 years' time when the mental scars are still there. And the people may bring that back up. And also, it's the I can't remember the name of the effect now, but when somebody tells you something enough over and over and over and over and over again, it might not be true, but you'll start to believe it. So, you know, there's the long-term after effects that come from these type of things that I think we could really do with some help with.
Yeah. And I think that falls into, you're talking there about the comments about moderating it, and whether the algorithms or artificial intelligence are the answer. I think that the answer comes from the companies and the production companies themselves. Is there a desire to get rid of that? Because as soon as they start moderating their own content, you lack the reach and you lack the engagement. And that's what they're going back, particularly commercial programming. They're going back to see, like, look how many people we've engaged with. Carl, you've just hit on a point there, which I hadn't even considered. If they do sanction another series of Big Brother, they're going to show highlights of the last time round. And Dylan, you found yourself in the center of a heated altercation.
Yeah, so we're going to go into the altercation. Right then, we're going to have to start from the start of the Halloween day. So, as I said, the Big Brother house is nothing like you can imagine in your mind. So, I'm going to try and get it out for you as I can. So, we are inside this house today, and it's Halloween. They're woken us up really early, and they said, it's Halloween, get your costumes on, get your makeup on. Now, we have to do all this ourselves because we're not allowed any human interaction. So we're there, putting our costumes on, getting our makeup on. Now, you might have, if you've watched the show, if you watched what happened, 2 weeks before, I was looking after the food, making sure that we had enough food for everybody to eat every single day until we had another food shop. Okay, there was 15 of us or whatever there was, and I counted out how many chicken thighs we had and thought, right, okay, we could do this and do that. Now that was seen by other people in the house to be me controlling the kitchen. Okay, and then there was a big meeting about it, and it was like, oh, Dylan's in control of the kitchen, and I'm sure that was spread online as well. He just wants to control the house. He wants to do this. He's trying to beat everybody, which he wasn't. Okay, I just wanted to feed the people because on a basic budget that they give you, there was not enough food for everybody to have what they want. So I was controlling it like that. Now, the week before, we had this sit-down conversation. They decided that what I was doing was controlling, and they didn't want to do it anymore. I sat back and said nothing. I said, what do you need to do? So the week before, so on the week of Halloween, they decided to eat what they wanted and do what they want. And guess what happened? The food ran out. The day before Halloween, we had 4 tins of tuna and 2 bags of pasta left in the drawers for 14 people. That is what happened. Okay, so I was like, I told you so. Okay, there it is. That's what I said. So that was the day before. On Halloween day, we had exactly nothing. Okay, when I say we had nothing, we had salt and pepper and spices. We had nothing to eat on my Halloween day. Now, Big Brother can't allow that. So Big Brother gave us cornflakes and milk for breakfast, so we could have that. And I believe a loaf of bread. And then they gave us, for dinner, they gave us 2 bags of pasta and 2 tins of kidney beans.
Wow.
And that's what we had to eat for that whole day. So just keep that in mind when you think about what happened. So for that whole day, that's all we had for everybody. Now, we were sat there all day. Now, as we knew, something was going to happen because Big Brother kept saying, one of you won't survive. So in my head, I thought, right, there's definitely an eviction coming up here. Let's have a look where this goes. But the eviction wasn't until right at the end. So it was like supposed to be for like, I don't even know what time it was going out, but it took until about, well, I'm guessing 11 o'clock at night. I mean, that's when we did our last task. Now we only had, I think it was 4 tasks to do. So 4 tasks spread over the whole day means that you did a task and then you sat around for 2 or 3 hours doing nothing with no food, tired. And then you did another task and then you sat around for 2 hours, 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? And that continued through the day. So by the time we got to that last task and I had to go into that room, I had not slept properly all day. I had been awake. I had not eaten properly all day. And then all of a sudden I'm up for eviction for I don't know what. So you can imagine my head, it went, you know, I'm a human being. I'm not trained for this. You know what I mean? I'm a human being. I haven't eaten properly. I've not slept properly. I've been reapplying makeup all day. And I lost it. And I came out and I shouted, you know what I mean? And to be fair, what I said was wrong. Okay. And I take that on the chin and I'll hold all accountability for that. But it flew out of my mouth because of a conversation that me and Nokia had the week before. You know, it was just circling around in my brain. And I was just so angry and so upset that these two people that I thought were my friends, do you mean? Days before that, we were sitting around talking to about, do you mean, how I was up for eviction literally on the Friday and how I felt about it. These are my friends, and they put me up again. So I was more upset than anything else, and I flew off the handle. Now that was resolved the next day between me, Noki, and Trish. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what you don't understand. You are in this house, and me flying off the handle seemed massive because Big Brother's like, oh my God, Dylan's flying off the handle. And then the whole world said, oh my God, Dylan said this, and Dylan's flying off the handles. And that was front page news, I'm guessing. But in reality, it was like a 1 minute fight, and then we went back to being normal again. Do you know, that's what you don't understand. The rest of the night was fine, you know? We didn't talk to each other. Next day, I sat down, I apologized. I tried to apologize to Noki, I apologized to Trish, and we were friends again. We were all close again. So that's what happened. Okay, that's the reality of what happened. But the reality of what you're seeing outside and what I'm catching all the hate for, do you know what I mean? It's completely wrong. The narrative is not that. You know what I mean? And everybody thinks now that I hate Trish or whatnot. But I've got people telling me that I hate black women, for God's sake. I mean, I'm mixed race. Half my family is black. I don't understand where these people are getting this from. So it's just crazy, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, I said what I said and I hold my hands up to it. But I apologize to the people that said it too. And I came out and I've apologized still, and I'm still getting hold against me. And I don't, do you mean, will it ever go away? Probably not. As you said, social media is there forever.
And I guess it's that thing where your back's against the wall. We've just spoke about this, that fight or flight situation. And what a lot of people don't realize in this circumstance is that your action was to an previous actions, previous things that had happened and gone on, but they forget about what started it. They just remember your part of the content, and nobody's been held accountable for. Maybe it was the people being deceiving, maybe it was people talking, maybe it was people. And I'm not saying too much because I'm not allowed to say what's going on, but they're forgetting about there was a start, a middle, and an end to this, and a lot of them have just missed out the reasons why, that the build up to this.
Yeah. Tammy, I want to come to you as well. We're humans. We've got emotions. We have ups and downs. We have words. We have different perspectives. We have different point of references. But we do have that ability to do whatever we want and say whatever we want. And then we also have the ability to try and make good our actions. But the make good it often isn't picked up, and it's a funny thing how that's kind of kept in the corners. But what's your your take on human nature and people flying off the handle of being too timid? Like we're all different.
And that's great. We are all different. We all react differently as well. And it's not a bad thing. But again, in these social experiments, that's what they want. We want to see how people are going to respond when they're broken, when they're sleep deprived, because it makes really good viewing, doesn't it? In essence, and that's why it's so successful. But when it comes to that kind of like filtering of like the negative, or filtering in the positive, yes, we are sometimes predisposed to just look for that negative if we're in that kind of emotional part of the brain. And as Carl, was alluded to before, that fight flight, if we're in that part of the brain, my goodness, we are just going to see the world from a really negative point of view. Throwing the fact that we're just really hungry, that we've just been procrastinating all day, and we haven't been focused, we haven't got the energy. But again, people will just respond in different ways.
Yeah, because you've lost your sense of purpose. You've lost your sense of purpose anyway. Being in that house, you've lost touch with reality, what's going on in the real world. You're put in these situations, which I'm sure you've had ups and downs of thinking, this is the best thing ever. I'm like on a holiday, and then this is the worst thing ever. Like, what's the point? I bet those emotions are flitting back and forth regularly in the time that you're in there.
100%. That inside the house, it is up, down, up, down, up, down, because you don't know what's going to happen from time to time, and as I said, you really don't know what time of day it is and what's really going on. So the emotions in there are quite intense. And with what he just said then as well, with Big Brother putting us in situations to make things happen. It's interesting you should say that, because the argument that Paul had with Noki happened because we were put in that situation. We had a party downstairs and they made the other housemates sit upstairs in a glass box to watch us. So do you know what I mean? That was something going to go up there, because why would you do that? Do you know what I mean? They've just missed out on a party. Their friends are down at a party and they're sitting up there like that. While we were all down there with loads of, we had chips from Chip Shop chips, we had food, we had drink. Do you know what I mean? We had sweets, we had everything we needed, and they're sat upstairs in a glass box was watching us. They didn't have to do that. They could have left them in the bedroom. They could have had the party, like we've had other parties, in one of the test rooms, but they didn't do that day. They made it so that the other team or the other half had to sit and watch, so they knew what was going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And it's a very clever strategy they've got. I mean, Big Brother's very smart, but it is, they do things to make reactions happen.
And then I'm just conscious of the time. I could literally listen and speak to you for like all evening. But what were some of your highlights of being in the house?
Some of the best times, okay? So meeting the people, okay? So people like Jordan and Henry are people that I would never really meet in real life. So I was really close to Jordan and Henry, you know what I mean? It didn't show that at all. Do you know what I mean? People are saying to me, like, how did I not know about the love triangle? Because, do you know what I mean? You're self-indulged and whatnot. That's not the fact at all. It's actually, they're very private people, and not a lot of people did know about it. But me, Jordan and Henry have breakfast every single morning. I find Jordan and Henry to be the most interesting characters in that house, because they come from such different backgrounds to me. And I've even spoken to Henry's sister. She's really nice as well. I met Henry's sister when I was out. They're really nice people. So Jordan and Henry, for me, were the highlight of every one of my days, because Jordan's dry humour coming across. It's just like, oh, what are we going to do to us today and whatnot. It made me smile every morning. And teaching Yimran how to cook curry patties was one of the highlights for me. I don't know if that got aired, so I've not even watched the show back yet. But teaching Yimran how to cook curry patties was the best, because I was making it. I said, what is it? Curry patties is life. And that's all she was saying all day. So, do you know what I mean? The connections that I made in there. Do you know what I mean? I didn't go in there to win Big Brother. I know it doesn't. I know people are going, all right. I went in there to challenge myself as an amputee, okay, to see if I could stand up on my leg for as much as I needed to. I'm not usually wearing my leg for that many hours in a day. I wanted to know if I could do it. I went to go and do it for that reason. I wanted to spread awareness for amputees. So if you can believe it, if you don't believe it, I don't care. I didn't go in there for the £100,000. I'm serious. So that's what I went in there to do, and that's what I did. And along the way, I met a load of interesting people, and I've got friends for life. So for me, I'm a winner. I've won already. You know what I mean? The people I've met, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing experience. So yeah, that was my happiest points. Of just little bits that you haven't even seen, which is unfortunate.
Tammy, isn't it amazing that on a show where we're talking about social media and online kindness day, that the highlights come from face-to-face personal interaction?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the irony. We work so much better when we have those social interactions, those positive social interactions. And you can just see your whole face light up, Dylan, when you're talking about the friendships that you forged. Again, it just really just emphasizes that we work better as a tribe. We work better when we're with other people, as opposed to on our own, or just like kind of in that virtual world. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. What's next for you then, Dylan? You're still going to have these people that have made their judgments of you, and
yeah,
you could be the most benevolent person in the world. They've seen that 2-minute clip. That's who they think Dylan is 100% of the time. What methods are you going to approach now, and what are you going to do about real life versus social media and still spreading your message, which is what you were doing beforehand anyway?
Well, I'm just going to carry on being me. I won't be engaging with the bullies and the people online, to be honest with you. If I see a hate comment, I'll just delete it off my site. There's a lot more love than there is hate out there. If I'm being realistic with you, there's a lot more love than there is hate, because people are understanding now that social media is not the platform to be bullying people, and there are people out there that have clued up that it's a TV show. Paul, one of my closest friends in there as well, to me, he's had a really bad rap with that. So me and Paul are together, and we're doing stuff like this. Paul's talking about mental awareness, and I'm talking about this sort of stuff. So I'm going to carry on doing that and spreading the message, really. And I just really want it to be known that you really have to think before you do these posts and you say these things online. Chanel is about to, I think Chanel might be the next one to come out. Now, my girlfriend has been on the phone to Chanel's mother, who is in pieces at the minute. I mean, she's in pieces because of the hate that's online for Chanel, and all of a sudden everybody hates her. And I've just need to ask people to just Chanel's done nothing wrong. Do you know what I mean? She's just look at, she's just sticking up for her friends at the end of the day. And I don't want to see her come out to hate and whatnot. So I'm probably going to be doing more posts on that. And obviously more posts on amputee stuff, as I do. Do you mean I do? And I'll be out DJing. I'm going to do a Wales tour for sure. I'm coming to Wales. I'm going to come and DJ over there. And I'm going to come to every club that wants me in the whole of the UK. I'll be there to DJ, meet and greet everybody. And I'm just going to be me. I'm going to carry on being me, my happy, positive self. So if you see me, feel free to come up and say hello and have a selfie.
I love that. Now, we talked earlier about the resilience that you've developed, about the adversity that you've had. But Carl, and we've also mentioned the flip side of nieces and nephews at younger age being exposed to online messages and online hate, and they might not have developed that resilience yet. Carl, for those that might be struggling and they're not able to be themselves because they don't know who they are yet, and they're still getting these messages in, what can people do on a day-to-day basis to try and make sure that they're not believing everything they hear about how they might look, about how they might sound, about how they behaved once in school, or about how they behaved in the office? How can we all develop more of an attitude similar to what Dylan's providing there of, I'm going to still keep being me? How can we do that?
I mean, dividing your time well is the first one. I mean, if you look on your average of your phone, I mean, I'm averaged 8 to 11 hours a day active on my phone. It's horrendous. I think we need to make sure we remember what reality is, and we don't spend too much time getting invested in what everybody else thinks, because really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's about how you love yourself, and how you think about yourself is how you are going to portray and be moving forward. So I think, first of all, remember, online is not reality. The people are making assumptions and they don't know you. It happens with me, it happens with Dylan, it happens with people in these type of situations where they go, oh, you're not the person I thought you were. It's like, right, because you don't know us. You don't know us. So I mean, the thing you need to do is manage your time, learn to love yourself, and do things daily which allows you to not feed off everybody else's opinions. Go out there and be that independent person that kind of finds themselves, kind of, goes on those walks, thinks about what is presently important to them, and remember that, everything out there might seem very, very big at one point in time, and it might be controlling your thought process right now. But in the grand scheme of things, it isn't really that important. There's a saying out there that I think, don't spend any more than 2 minutes worrying about something that in 2 months, 2 years, or 20 years time, you're not even going to remember. Because, we could really get caught up, and that's where our mental wellness it draws into negativity, is where we get caught up in that moment. We get caught up in that present time where we can't see the wood through the trees, and there's no reality anymore. It's just you and your thoughts and whatever people are saying around you, and it becomes true. But it's not really true at all, is it? So try and find yourself, keep away a little bit more, and do things that make you feel good. That is the important things. Keep away from anything that is negative, and just do what you like doing, whether it's reading a book, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's emceeing, whether it's, go and work out in the gym. It doesn't matter. Play some music, go listen to a band. Put yourself in a position where you can be as happy as you can be majority of the time, and that will help you throughout those things.
Yeah. Tammy, I'm going to put that question on to you as well. Is there any other techniques that you've used, or on people that come to you, or anything that you think might be helpful for those that don't know themselves yet and don't know what they enjoy and might be too afraid to be like, well, I can't try that because I've never done it before?
Well, I just want to lift everything that Carl said, because it's absolutely true. Anything that's going to change your mood set, change your frame of mind, that focus, just bring you back to the present. But the other thing is, and I just want to kind of like link it back to Social Media Kindness Day, is the fact that we've all got a role to play when we see these negative comments, and we've all got a role to play when people are being trolled. So we're all active bystanders. So if we see someone struggling or having a really hard time, as well as checking in on them, we can report, we can intervene. So that person isn't on their own, because a young person who maybe hasn't got the life experiences that we've got, that realization that actually we can just put the phone down, we can turn it off, we can limit our screen time. It's just to have someone just to check in, or check in on other people. Sorry.
Yeah. That reminds me, actually, in the streets I used to grow up with, everybody went out onto the street. Yes, you would as kids, you play with each other. The grown-ups would come out onto the street. They would share stories. They would be, how was your day? And you would have that time to reflect, and it would be a supportive environment. There is a sense that there's almost not permission to do that online. Online, the permission is jump on board. And actually, we have lost that togetherness, and we do have a responsibility to make sure that everyone is safe and looked after. Particularly next week is safeguarding week, and we do have that obligation to look after each other. We're more similar than we are different. Thank you, Carl, Tammy, Dylan, in particular, for being so generous and grateful with your time here this evening. A whole myriad of emotions that you're feeling, and you probably haven't fully processed them yourself. Processed them fully yourself yet. So I fully appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience to date so far. And I suppose the last question to you then has to be, who's going to win it?
Well, for me, I want Yimrin to win. I mean, I've always said this. I want Yimrin to win, and that would be my dream. If she could win that, I would be the happiest person as well. So I'm going to carry on with the Yimrin to win.
Amazing. Dylan, if you're going to go on a Wales tour, I can't wait to see those posters for that. Carl, make sure you make that happen. But if people want to follow your journey and people want to know more about these videos that you told us about earlier, where can people find out more about the supportive side of Dylan?
So everything is under one umbrella. It is an amputee abroad, like an idiot abroad, but an amputee abroad. So you can find it on Instagram, you can find me on the YouTube there, and also on the Facebook as well. And there are videos on YouTube, as I said, to help amputees. There's me in hospital from a week before up until I walked, and then there's videos of me going on holiday and whatnot, showing the amputees how to move about. And the Instagram itself is going to be moving forward now. More awareness for this sort of stuff, and just see what's next for myself.
And it's an inspiring story, and just like we've been saying that an episode of Big Brother is condensing 24 hours into an hour, that's condensing 28 days into an hour a day, 28 days of your whole lifetime. So if we are thinking about who we've decided who Dylan is, there was a whole lot of previous Dylan that we don't know about, and that social media will give a perfect insight into furthering your knowledge and understanding, and actually seeking out advice and information is one way that we can help be a bit more friendly and kind out there, and looking at the work that we all do behind the scenes, and what's shared and what's told and what's seen are very different things. Carl, thank you so much. I know that you need to shoot off as well. Dylan, thank you so much once again for your time here this evening. Tammy and I, we're going to take a moment, we're going to come back, and we're going to give a brief, we're going to do our best to reflect on this as best as we can, and also maybe give you a primer as to what we might be talking about in December's show of Healthy Minds, Better Lives, because we still got conversations on why women, the gender pain gap, why women typically have to wait longer for a diagnosis. We've got an interview on lung health still to come, and also as we enter into this late night, the difficulty that people are having sleeping, and techniques that on how you can hopefully have a good night's sleep. Thank you once again. I've done my best at being a DJ, Dylan. I've got some chasing status with Badadan for us. Is that all right?
Love that. One of my favourite tracks in a minute. So we'll have that. We'll definitely take that.
Right, we're going to take a moment. Tammy and I will be back, so don't go anywhere. It's Healthy Minds, Better Lives on a Thursday evening. Dylan and Carl, thank you so much once more.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.